Did you say yes?
Yes.
Christian, we're all set? Excellent. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the September 7th regularly scheduled school committee meeting, the Wareham School Committee. This meeting is being broadcast live on WCTV. Also, an audio recording is being made by our recording secretary, Ms. Ruiz. And thank you for putting up with my foolishness last week. I'm sorry I couldn't be here. So let us start. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the committee? If so, speak now, forever hold your peace. Seeing none, let's move on to good news. Shall we go around? Mr. Sweat?
I'm all set, thank you, although we had a grand opening day.
That's what I heard. Judy?
All set.
Mary?
All set.
Cliff?
Well, the good news is you're back, Mr. Lazarus.
Well, that may be a matter of opinion. We'll see how that works.
I have,
Madam Superintendent.
thank you, a special date on September 29, 2016. We invite everyone to please join us for the 25th anniversary of the Wareham High School. It will take place in the foyer at 3 p.m. Refreshments will be served. Again, the date is September 29th. And on September 21st, the world will celebrate UN International Peace Day around the globe. Please stay tuned for upcoming events from the middle school. Again, that date is September 21st. I have another one. I received this letter from the Heart Association as they wanted to extend the most gracious thanks for allowing our educators to help fundraise for Jump Rope for Heart and Hoops for Heart. This was at Deacon's and at Minot and the middle school. So thank you very much for the faculty, for the students, and for all the community that participated. And that completes it.
Thank you. At this time, I understand that we are going to have a presentation by the Beyond School Time students. So, those of you that are involved in this, come on forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So just a brief background on our Care Center camp
Excuse
this
me,
summer.
before you start, could
For the
you
record.
please identify yourself and the rest of the people that are going to be presenting with you?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Jane Fondulis, the Director of the Office of Beyond School Time and the Director of the Care Programs. This evening we have...
Can you angle the microphone toward your mouth?
Can you hear me now? Okay. This evening we have our service learning curriculum that we did this summer. We have staff that were trained. We have Miss Barton, we have Miss Williams, Miss Martin, and Mrs. Gagnon. And we have 3 representatives from the class, Jessica Janik, Lucas DiMaranville, and Marcel Jones. And they're going to be presenting the hard work that they did over the summer. So the way the Care summer camp went, we have a theme every year. Last year it was construction, so we focused on...
It's not showing yet.
Oh, it's not showing? You love technology. Yeah, see, it's not showing.
Yes, thank you.
Do you know anything about the focus? Oh, good. Okay. There it is, thank you. So going back to the theme, last year it was construction, and we focused on duct tape, and the students learned all the history of duct tape and made things. And so this year we chose the theme. We do it early in the year, and we came up with We Are the World, and it actually ended up being a really good theme for everything that our world is going through. And then we ended up having some Chinese exchange students, so it all came together. But the focus was, we were thinking about our community and the homelessness and hunger in our community. So we chose We Are the World along with the song. So we had a care chorus that sang on the care fair. Every Wednesday afternoon, we all got together as a big group and rehearsed the song. So the programming, we had 229 students enrolled this summer for a 5-week program. It ran Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 2:30. And of those 229 students, they were all enrolled in 120 hours of programming, and 108 average hours were attended, so we had a 91% attendance rate. We break up the program, so we have the programs, and we had, it's all project-based, hands-on learning. So some of the classes were robotics, Legos with math, science explorers, wood shop, musical theater, drama. And of course, we still had our partners, our community partners, so our students had the chance to have Buzzards Bay Coalition come and work with them out at the marsh. Every day, a group of students went to the YMCA, and they had outdoor swim, and then they did a team building activity. Our students also got a chance to go off-site to many off-site field experiences, particularly the Cape Cod Canal Educational Center for 2 weeks, did programming with our kids. So in partnership with the district-wide Global Ed team, we hosted 43 exchange students from Qingdao Grand High School in Northeast China for 3.5 days. So while they were here, they participated in the morning in our classes, and then in the afternoon, they taught classes. So they did Chinese paper cutting, they did calligraphy, they danced with our kids on the stage. You guys had a blast. A lot of great friendships were formed, and so with that, again, that whole global connection, then we went into the service learning. So I'm going to pass it on to our guys here. They're going to come up and tell you all the good things they did this summer.
Can you show me how to get out of here?
Sorry, you missed Dharma too.
Just say hi and
Children, you can tilt the microphone down that's in front of you.
push the chair in.
Hello, I'm Jessica.
Hi,
I'm
Jessica.
Lucas.
I'm Marcel. I'm Marcel.
How you doing? Nervous.
Okay. I'll break the ice. The first thing the students did was to play a game that helped them define what community service learning was all about and what different projects we could do affecting the community.
So basically, in the beginning of the program, we all worked together on projects like puzzles, and we also learned stuff about each other by playing a game, basically all about learning about other people and the people in the class.
Then we had a few guest speakers. One was from the Knights of Hospitality, which gives the homeless a place to sleep when it's like harsh weather and they can't stay outside.
And the other guest speaker that we had was a social worker named Olivia that taught us about her job. And for her job, she helps homeless people and she works at a shelter. And she told us about how the homeless people can be. Like, some of them are very happy that she's helping them and some people aren't.
Well, we had to find out like the problems and the needs that like in our area. So we like made posters to like, for each problem that we researched, and we worked together to like choose which ones that we were going to make posters about. And so in order to find out what problems that we could help, we needed to like research and talk all together to choose the ones that we were gonna do. So we went to the library and we all searched up some websites and some organizations that we could help during that time period, and we could do like a project on it.
So to decide on the project, we had to figure out the goals of the project and what the name was going to be. And once we figured out that we wanted to do hunger, we associated it along with the stage program, which is something that helps kids during the school year get food on the weekends by kids filling backpacks and passing them out to the students for the weekend. And to vote for the name, we put our heads down and raised our hand for the name that we thought was the best.
And the final name that we chose was the Learning Walk Toward Ending Hunger. So what we did is the track, we planted signs around the track that, like, learning signs. And then once you're done learning about the signs, you would go over, you can make a small donation to help with the backpack program.
So we planned what we were going to put on the sides, and with the few of the problems that we chose, we each made a side for each problem that we chose, and we could like decorate it, and we could like make it however we wanted that would like represent that cause.
The signs also consisted of hunger facts from all 50 states to our town in Wareham and the school. And we promoted the walk by making signs and putting them around the school so people would know where to get papers about it and when it was.
So he posted the signs around the track, and people can come from the care fair to walk over to the track and do the track, learn some facts, and if they've got like $1 or $2, they can donate the $1 or $2 that they have. Or if you don't want to make a donation, you don't have to.
We also got a lot of pledges, and we also got supplies donated from neighboring companies, and they sent us the signs that we used for the facts were sent from Gateway Graphics.
This is just us walking around the track during some of the students just coming outside, walking the track, learning a few facts.
And at the end of the care program, we raised over $300 to supply the stage program for the school year, which is also known as the weekend backpack program.
If you want to add anything else.
So the backpack program, also known as STAGE, stands for Students Taking Action for the Greater Good of Everyone. And what the students in STAGE do is every day, once a week, every week, during the school year, once the late buses start, they fill backpacks with food, which consists of 2 dinners, 2 lunches, 2 breakfasts, and 4 snacks. And if there are families that need backpacks for more than 1 kid, we will put in whatever's needed for the amount of kids. If there's 5 kids, we'd put in 5 times the amount of 1 backpack.
And
So they can have food for the weekend.
And each backpack costs $5 to bring home. And each student doesn't know who is taking the backpack home, since they're going to be staying after school through the nurse's office. So they don't really know if they're getting the backpack or not, because it's after school when the late buses start.
And also, I have one more thing to add. If the kids in the stage program see the backpacks, we are not supposed to say anything. So it's kept confidential, because we don't want the kids to get embarrassed.
Because other kids will make fun of them for.
Sometimes.
We hope that won't happen.
We're trying not to make that happen, so they're just supposed to try and keep them secret.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presentation. It looks as though this was a very worthwhile and experience, and you learned something at the same time. So, anyone on the committee have any comments, questions, etc.?
Well,
Judy?
outstanding program, and you should be very proud of yourselves.
Thank you.
Very, very good work you're doing at a very young age, and to learn these lessons in life now, to always be that kind of an adult, to pass it along.
Jeff?
I agree with my colleague, but I'd like to know what was the most interesting thing you learned over the summer as a result of doing this project.
Like about the signs or the whole
Anything,
project?
anything.
So what I thought was interesting that is it each person weighs about 5 food each month?
Yeah. Yeah.
That each person wastes
40 pounds a year.
waste 40 pounds of food each year. That's for every person.
You're right, that's very interesting.
What I found interesting was that hunger was that much of a problem in Wareham.
And I was just going to say, I want to commend you for identifying a very real and serious problem.
I also found out that most of the places that, like, most of the people that throw away food, they don't think about, like, all the other people that could use the food. And, like, if it's, like, expired and they didn't even eat it, like a past sell date, they could give it to, like, a homeless person. And that could make someone's life much better, but they don't do it.
And we're gonna do this for every summer care program that we do, is because we're trying to help out Stage or the backpack program for the kids.
Oh, good. Excellent.
And we're also sponsoring by Fuel Up to Play 60.
Cliff?
We're gonna collaborate with them.
I'd just like to congratulate the young citizens for their dedication to the project and being able to come up before this group and articulate it as well as you have. You make me proud to be on the school committee of Wareham, and I'm sure you make your parents proud of what you did and what you accomplished this
A
summer.
lot of
So,
people don't normally see that there's a lot of homeless and hungry people out in their town, because they don't realize it because they're too focused about
Right.
themselves.
It was also very fun at parts to, like, make the signs, set them up, play games, walk around. We did a lot of fun stuff in between serious work.
that's great.
We did that.
Thank you, one and all. Okay, shall we move to the minutes of the last meeting, please?
I move we accept as presented.
Do I have a Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion, additions, corrections, omissions? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, 1, 401. Thank you. Madam Superintendent, acceptance of gifts.
We have no gifts tonight.
No gifts?
No gifts tonight.
Gosh. We get out there and get some gifts.
I'll work on that.
Okay, Ms. Kashner, you can't hide behind the seat like that. And Mr. Palladino.
I'm going to sit over here in the front row.
Hi, Megan.
Good evening. How's that? Good? All right. Thank you for having me today. My name is Megan Kashner. I am a special education teacher at the high school and a coach. I graduated Wareham in 1999. And both sports and special education has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. So I wanted to present to you today the opportunity to bring unified sports to Wareham High School. We're going to start with a track and field team, we're hoping, with your approval. Let me explain unified sports. It's an opportunity to have kids with disabilities and kids without disabilities compete on the same team. And it's not in the sense of partnering and helping, they're competing. They're training together side by side, both working on their skills to develop their abilities, and participate in competitive track meets, just like our track and field teams. So unified sports would kind of be a subdivision of our track and field team. We would practice together on the track, but we would have our own meets, 3 to 4 regional meets,
some other schools in the South Coast Conference that already have unified sports teams, track and field teams, are Apponequet, Dighton Rehoboth, and Seekonk. Some more neighboring towns include Plymouth North and South, and Carver. Brockton, I believe, also has a unified track and field team. Those are the schools that we would compete against in 3 to 4 meets. And then there is a sectional meet, as well as a state championship, which was held at Fitchburg State University last year. The MIAA is a supporter of this program, and was started by Special Olympics, but it's not Special Olympics fully, because students without disabilities, that may not have the confidence to go out for the track team can come compete and train and work on their distances, their times, their throwing, and still get recognized by the school in a varsity sport situation. We would have regulations other than the age limitation due to the students with disabilities may exceed 18 years old. So we were hoping to start this in the spring of 2017.
Any questions or
Any
comments?
questions? Yes.
Do you have a number in mind?
To start out, I would love to have 30, 15 and 15 students with and students without disabilities. That would be ideal. That'd be great.
So the students that do not have disabilities, are they part of the track and field team?
You cannot participate in another varsity sport as well as unified sports. It's its
Okay.
own varsity
So
sport.
unified sports is an activity of its own.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Jeff?
I applaud the initiative. I think it's great. I can tell you that in tennis, it's an officially recognized part of tennis, wheelchair tennis. As a matter of fact, there are specialized wheelchairs that are available if a student wants to play tennis and cannot run around the court. So go for it, and if you ever want to expand it to tennis, let me know.
All right.
Playing course now, right?
Judy?
I just want to thank you for bringing this program to Wareham. We need this program. Thank you
I
very
agree.
much.
And it's a perfect blend of my two passions, so.
I also want to thank you for that. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Question I do have, because being, a former SPED teacher, so is there a regulation or whatnot on the amount of students with disabilities and the amount of students without disabilities, such as, say, in a preschool program, you can only have 7 on it's 8. No, that's right, 7 on IEPs and 8 regular.
There
Non.
isn't. There
Okay.
isn't.
So you could technically have all of them be disabilities or all of them not be, you have to have some, right, that are.
I mean, I'm going to focus on the students with
Right,
disabilities for
right.
sure. But there is no regulation. A friend of mine volunteered with the Plymouth North program, and she said the first week it was primarily students with disabilities and a couple students, but then it grew the next week. Kids were interested and they wanted to see what it was all about, and they realized that it's a legit varsity sport that practices, that competes, records times. So that drew in some students that, for whatever reason, didn't participate in the spring track
Good.
team.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I don't believe you mentioned when you were going to try and have this first, you're talking about the spring of this year?
Correct.
Okay. What are the budget implications of this?
My contact at the Special Olympics, we had a meeting this summer, and she said about $4,000 a season, a year, to run this program. We have already fundraised that money for the first year. Special Olympics will provide an initial $2,000 for the first year, $1,000 for the second year, and you should be independent from them the third year. It's a 3-year commitment to the program to have their input, their funding. So for the spring of 2017, we have fundraised already, and we have also a donation that we received 2 years ago from the New England Sanitary Supply Association from one of our students' father's company. They donated specifically for Special Olympics to bring Special Olympics back to Wareham. So we had money from that donation, and we fundraised, and then Special Olympics will provide us with our initial 2,000. So this is more of, in the future, we would like to have, it's a minimal, most of it goes to transportation and a small coaching stipend.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? If not, we need a vote on this, so if somebody would be so kind as to make a motion. Well, I'm
I
sorry.
just have something. I just want to thank Megan and the high school, because this has been a project which has taken a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's brought laughter to onset as well, because there's been several comedy nights that have been supported by the community. So thank you, because this just didn't happen without your hard work.
And I appreciate both your support, Dr. Shaverhood, and Mr. Palladino's support right from the get-go when it was just an idea. I've had your support all along, and I appreciate that.
So, may I have a motion on this, please?
I move that we approve the creation of the Special Olympics track and field team.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion?
I just want to make sure that that's a correct motion. Do we want to say unified sports as compared?
I didn't know when to jump in, Mrs. Sylvia.
Well, I'm just reading off the, I'm reading off the agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Unified sports, better?
Unified sports, because it kind of takes away from.
I move the creation of the unified sports at Wareham High School.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 500, thank you.
Good job, Megan.
Before you leave, you have another announcement?
Yes, I just wanted to share our next fundraising event, which will be happening September 17th at Salerno's Comedy Night with Christine Hurley and friends. Doors open at 7:30. It's 21 plus show, and it's $25 per person. And anyone can see me or contact Nicole Maselli at Salerno's Seaside Function Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. Our attorney, Naomi Stoneberg, is retiring this fall, and as you do on a yearly basis, you need to vote for a new school council. So in June, we sent out proposals to 4 firms asking for submission. We have received 3 responses, which I had included for your consideration. However, after doing some more investigating and talking with Naomi Stoneberg, she will be remaining as on a consulting basis with the firm. And when you look at the cost per hour, the Brody, Hardoon, Perkins, and Kessler come in at $200 an hour, which is less than Murphy, Hess, Toomey, and Lahaney. So it would be my recommendation to the committee to vote to appoint Brody, Hardoon, Perkins, and Kessler as their legal counsel for the upcoming school year.
What I'd like to do is to have a motion to that effect, and then we can open it for discussion. May I have a motion from someone to that effect?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion.
When I read through,
Everybody raise your hand at once. Judy?
when I read through the proposals, I had a couple of questions. I wanted to ask you, have you been really satisfied with the work we've had from the firm and with the attorney we've been using?
Yes, they've been extremely supportive, and we have been working with Mr. Greg Panini as well, and he will be the one that would be assigned to our district.
And I noticed when I read, the what Murphy, Hess, Toomey, and Lehane had to offer, they were talking about, the free seminars and the legal updates and, the training and 10 hours free for the transition, which you wouldn't need. But what they said that they would give in addition to for free, is that just a regular service that the other attorneys were given too?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so you can't say that they're going to give more, you're saying we're getting a good job from the ones that we had.
Yes.
And I just wanted to make a comment, the last person that was on there for the bid said he was a sole practitioner now, and I saw the guideline, that isn't true? The Emerson? Is that
I
the
believe-
name?
Make your comments and
Okay,
make mine at the end.
okay. Let me get
Yeah.
his name, I thought it was Emerson.
Yeah,
It was
I
Emerson.
think it was.
Yeah, and I just noticed that he said he was a sole,
Right.
and then I thought, you know, we had to have someone who had coverage all the time, and that might not fit. That's all, that's a concern I had if we used him. So, that's it. Questions answered.
Jeff?
Well, it's interesting. We have 3 proposals to consider. One is obviously, I guess at one time it must have been Emerson and Emerson, but now it's just Emerson, because he's a sole provider unless he's not recognizing, you know, his son or something.
It was his father. He's
It was his
deceased.
father? Okay. So, I'm a little uncomfortable not having more resources than one individual. By the same token, I am somewhat uncomfortable with the notion of being one of a zillion schools that is, that we would become a part of if we were to go with the other firm, the large firm. In addition, their rates are 25% higher, which is not insignificant. And then I don't know whether it was intentional or unintentional, but I noticed in their proposal that the seminars were complimentary with an E, and the opinions were complimentary with an I. And since they're attorneys, I decided it was probably not a mistake, and therefore somehow they were, these seminars were going to be complementary to the other services that they provide, but certainly not free. So I couldn't tell whether that was, they were being too cute by a half, or whether that was just legalese, but my legal colleague is smiling over there. So I wasn't impressed with their offer to do seminars. And finally, even in the proposal, the complimentary with an I opinions, there was a grossly ungrammatical, incomprehensible sentence in their template, which looked like a template to me, so I'm not sure how many other people are getting this grossly incomprehensible sentence. So
Well, that's lawyer talk.
Excuse me?
That's lawyer talk.
That's lawyer talk? No, this was just bad grammar. So I am quite comfortable,
This one,
yeah.
we regularly issues, wrong tense.
Yes, here's the
Got it.
sentence for the record. We regularly issues complimentary advisories to its clients. Really. They actually printed that. So my only question as it pertains to our current legal services, at their, and I'm going to ask this of the chair, since he has experience with lawyers more than I do, or at least I got a lot of experience with lawyers, but I'm going to ask you, would it be reasonable for us to want to ask for a bifurcated rate? Because it's clear that some of the attorneys in this firm are extraordinarily experienced, and others are quite young and relatively inexperienced. And the one thing that I thought was interesting with the proposal from the very large firm is they did have a bifurcated rate. So, Mel, what do you think about that?
Well, I read that from Murphy, et cetera, and I didn't like it because, well, how do I know I'm getting the top gun?
Well, if they're not on the name.
And, well, that and how do I know, I know how legal research is done. And how do I know if I'm billed at $240 an hour that I'm really getting something that was done by the $110 an hour para and given to a senior partner to sign.
Not unusual.
With Naomi's firm, we've always had her. And it's the same price.
Right, but we're getting a relatively junior person assigned to us. I mean, I like Greg, and Greg has done good work for us.
I agree.
But he is not Naomi in terms of experience.
No, and I would say this, that their rate is a reasonable rate.
How does it compare to the rate we're paying now?
It's comparable.
Essentially the same?
Yeah,
Okay.
their rate is a reasonable rate, and I think that you could get just about anybody out of that firm from the top down, and we're gonna get them at the same rate. I have an uneasy feeling about, well, you're gonna get a senior partner for $240, and you're gonna get a paraprofessional for $110. You know, most justices don't write their own decisions.
I'm all set, thank you.
Mary?
Yes, I have a question. So is it correct, I heard this correct, that Naomi is still going to consult?
Yes.
So how does that work in with the pay?
Well,
I
it's
don't-
per hour to the firm.
Okay, so, but she would, what I'm thinking is, when I think of consult, I'm thinking that, say, Greg is actually working on it, and then she comes in and she consults on the same thing. That's not going to happen, right?
Well, I
So,
think
I
it
mean-
would depend on the situation, but you're not going to pay her more as a consultant.
No, I mean, you're paying Greg on top of, I mean, her on top of Greg.
No.
No,
No,
no.
okay.
You're paying per hour to the firm, how they split it up as their
Oh, okay.
business.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more
Judy?
question. Is Naomi the one that you've been working with for a number of years?
Yes.
So she holds the history of what goes
Oh,
on here,
yes.
and that's very, very
Yes,
important.
I
So
sat
that's
across
a
the
very
table
big
from her on a
plus.
number of occasions.
Very big plus of, and if you're happy with the results, it's a very big plus for retaining that firm.
Yeah.
And it's at the correct price, so, makes sense.
Cliff?
Well, I'm kind of a unique situation because I've worked with all three of these firms. And I'm telling you right now, Murphy, Hess, Toomey, and Lehane is a quality company. That's a quality company. And the reason they have so many clients is because they're good.
I worked with them for 20 years also.
So they're a quality company. Make no mistake about it. Now, I know they may have had some grammar glitches, but they're a quality company. And in terms of Emerson, I've worked with Joe Emerson because Joe Emerson was at my previous system. And he's very competent. And obviously, we have a history with Brody. But to be quite honest with you, I'm the oldest member of the committee, and there's been some times that I haven't been happy with Brody, to be quite honest. And to be quite honest, there's been several times in my tenure that I've recommended to go a different route, and they've taken my recommendation at $0 an hour. So, if the superintendent and if the committee's comfortable not changing horses, I'm fine with it. But I think Joe Emerson can get stretched. It's true. But in terms of the other two firms, I think that overall Brody has performed well, even though I think they've had a couple of glitches. And I know for a fact that Murphy and Hess, Toomey and Lehane is a quality company. So I would support the recommendation of the superintendent in this particular case.
Jeff?
Are they asking for a contract?
No, we would just do the one-year appointment like we've done before.
So it's a one-year appointment?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything further?
I guess I want to add, I've worked with all the other two also.
I do agree with Cliff concerning Murphy. They are a quality company, and it's obvious from the list of their clients. As far as Emerson is concerned, I would not be interested in a single practitioner. sometimes you need something right then and there, and if he's tied up in court, tied up in a trial, things aren't going to happen the way you want them to. I am pretty much happy with what we've gotten from Brody, and if it's a superintendent's recommendation to do that, I would like to go along with it. So we have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500. Thank you very much. Vote on official delegate to MASC Joint Conference.
Mr. Chair, traditionally, the chair has acted as the delegate
So when is this?
in November.
I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get there.
And I was under the same situation, and I asked, when I was chair, Mr. Sweat to stand in my behalf, and he was very gracious to do so.
I would
So
hope he-
traditionally it's the chair, but I think we have a wonderful stand-in if you would accept it again.
Would you be so kind as to do that?
It's at the committee's pleasure. That's fine.
Thank you. Do we need a vote on that?
So I move that we appoint Jeff Sweat as the voting delegate at the Mask Fall Conference.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You can vote against it, Jeff. Does this need to be-
Abstain.
401. No, we'll worry about that in a moment. Okay. We need an alternate.
Yes, you need to fill out an alternate.
Is that if you don't go?
In case something happens and you have to show up if you want somebody else.
I'll do it if you tell me to show up.
Okay.
I'm just having surgery.
Okay. You need an alternate, Judy.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Official vote.
If I'm not dead, and that,
Oh,
if I'm
stop
not
it.
dead, she'll kill me for not showing up.
And if I remember correctly, there's some really important resolutions coming up.
All right.
I will bring them to the committee when they're available.
Thanks.
Thank you. Madam Superintendent,
Thank
your
you.
report, please.
Thank you. I would just like to give a brief overview of the opening of school from the various schools. So beginning at the high school, the first week of school opened very smoothly. Every student received a Chromebook, and most were picked up before it started. 8th grade dual enrollment students began their classes last week, and the Bridgewater State dual enrollment students started their classes today. There are 3 upperclassmen involved in the pilot using virtual high school for 1 class each, and teachers continue to embrace technology in their instruction, and many have had students download their textbooks and novels to their computers. Moving on to the middle school, it's been an amazing start at the middle school. They welcomed the 5th grade students and their parents with an orientation session in the auditorium before the start of school. I am happy to say there was standing room only, and we believe that this led to a very smooth opening
Bless
for
you.
all students new to the middle school. There was a tremendous excitement in the air on opening day, and the building was buzzing with a number of new initiatives. Viking Time was created this year to ensure students are provided a chance to meet in small groups with a teacher on how to discuss how we can create a positive culture in the building. STEAM opportunities continue to be offered in grades 7 and 8, and this year they've introduced a Humanities Academy. In-house field trips will focus on team building and be a central part of the 7th grade academic experience. And during the month of September, they're excited to promote Spectacular September for Peace. And this will occur again on September 21st. There will be a celebration. with all students will be playing soccer as part of the One Day, One Goal campaign. At Deacon's, the year started with the arrival of 609 smiling faces. They're currently home to 170 kindergartners, 216 first graders, and 223 second graders. Staff are prepared and excited to get to know their new students. This summer brought the purchase of a new math material, the foundation programs for phonics instruction, and many project-based learning materials for the implementation of Focus on K-2 literacy program. The Deacon's grounds have also seen improvement. Trees have been trimmed, handicap spaces are painted, but most importantly, and happy to report, the roof and boiler project are ready to begin. And at Minot, they've had an exciting start to the year. The first week of school has gone very well. We've had several new students moving into our school. Our third and fourth grade students have settled into their routines, and we now have teacher teams in groups of 3 this year, with one team of 2 in grade 4. Teachers have collaborated in building their schedules, and they've started to work together as students have already begun to switch classes. Third grade students are very excited to use their Chromebooks, and all students in grade 3 and 4 will use them daily throughout. Parents have been asking about band and chorus, and that the sign-ups will begin soon. And finally, our extended day program began on the first day of school. At the present, we have 49 students enrolled in the morning and 63 students in the afternoon, for a total of 112 students. We now have 4 sites with the 21st Century Community Learning Center grants. The high school's a new site. Deacon's is entering the 4th year. Minot is entering the 10th year and the 2nd year as a demonstration site. And the middle school will be entering the 14th year and the 4th year as a demonstration site. Programs will begin in October, and we expect to have programming for approximately 300 students. And just to thank all the technology department, as they've worked incredibly hard to make sure that all students in grades 2 through 12 were provided with their Chromebooks. So thank you very much, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Jeff?
I wondered, and I don't need precise numbers, but just ballpark numbers, if you could attach some numbers to some of the things that you mentioned. For example, how many students do we have doing dual enrollment with BSU, approximately?
Oh, you want an answer right this second? Let's see, 10.
10. Thank you, Mr. Palladino. 10, okay. How many students are doing dual enrollment 8th and 9th?
22.
That seems less, quite a bit fewer than last year.
It's about 12 less.
About 12 less, okay. And is that because fewer applied, or is that because we restricted the number?
No, we did not restrict the number, fewer applied.
Fewer applied. Okay, and how many students do we have in the preschool at Minot, approximately?
Right now, approximately 94 total.
That's a big number.
It was about where we were last year.
Is it?
That's average.
Is it average?
Yeah.
I stand corrected, or sit corrected, or whatever. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Are there any school committee reports?
No, I got
Oh, I'm
questions.
sorry.
Any snags in transportation?
No. Actually,
Everything
had-
went smooth?
Yes,
Wow.
reasonably smooth. We've had some that we've been dealing with, that Jamie Andrews has been doing a superb job. We are working out a few little kinks, but I would say that this is the first year that Michelle has not received any complaints.
Oh, that's
On
great.
the
I've
phone.
actually heard good feedback, too.
Oh, good.
That's great.
So would everybody please knock on wood? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr.
yeah.
Chair.
No, it's plaster down there. School committee reports. Okay, under school committee reports, It's the fall, which means we are in the evaluation cycle for our superintendent. And if you'd be so kind as to take down some dates. If anyone needs forms, Michelle can get you forms. On the 21st of this month, the superintendent is going to give us her self-evaluation. I would like to have to me by October 5th your individual evaluation so I can do whatever collating I've got to do on them. And then on the 19th of October, we will present our evaluation to the superintendent. Jeff, you look querulous down there.
I'm not sure that I would use that term, but putting that aside, part of the reason for the lateness in the cycle was so that we could have some kind of state standardized testing results prior to doing it. Are they going to be available and presented on the 21st? I realize the quarantine lasts forever.
No,
the
21st of
September.
September. That was my question too, Jeff.
Of when they're going to not have them embargoed. They're much quicker this year with getting us all the information than they were last year.
Okay.
So we just have to wait for them to make sure that they're no longer embargoed.
Assuming they're not embargoed, will we be prepared to make a presentation at the next school committee meeting?
By the 21st?
Yes.
And how is she going to be able to use that data in her self-evaluation?
Well, they're not embargoed from our superintendent.
No, that's true. Sorry about that.
But I can't give you my evaluation if I put that information in because it's still embargoed.
Correct.
I would have to wait
That is
until-
correct.
Yeah. We can wait if you would like.
What's your pleasure?
But that was the whole reason we set up this timeline, as Dr. Sylvia recalls. So it does seem to me we should. It'll be retroactive to August 1st anyway. So I don't think it really matters.
The
I agree.
timeline to me is something that we can set the way we want to set it.
I agree. So I guess what I'm saying is I would prefer to have the due date for the individual school committee evaluations to you after the presentation of the state results.
That's fine. We got an idea when that might be?
I think safely probably the last week in October.
That's
That's-
all right.
I thought you said they were going faster.
We received the data sooner, but I'm not sure if
Do-
they're confused about all the different tests that were taken across the state.
They're confused?
Yes.
What else is new?
There's a surprise.
They have 500 people up there and they're still confused.
Would you, members of the committee, is it your pleasure to put this whole thing off until after the embargo has been lifted?
Well, it is and it isn't for me, Mr. Chair. I just think we have an obligation to evaluate our superintendent and to make this, and to have this process wait until December or January, I don't think it's fair to her either. But by the same token, you know, especially when we're evaluating the goals, academic achievement is part of that, and it's very hard to do without that data. So I don't know what to tell you, but I do know that I certainly am not in favor of procrastinating this thing till December or January.
Historically, the embargo will be done by the end of this month.
I would think so. So my suggestion was going to be to leave everything the way it is and leave it fluid. And if, for whatever reason, the superintendent finds it impossible to do a self-evaluation, especially in academic, the other stuff she can do. It's the academic achievement
Right.
part, and as it pertains to her goals. and leave that fluid, and we may have
I
to
mean,
do that later. I don't
would've-
know, but I would say leave everything the same and see where it plays out. We can always change it.
We can always move a couple of weeks further along if we have to.
That's my recommendation. Leave it, and then see where it goes.
And reminder, of course, that, and I'll
Well, we
say
gotta-
this,
we
I'll
gotta-
say this again and again, I absolutely detest this process being a public evaluation.
Well, it is what it is.
But this is based solely on your observations of the superintendent's performance and the goals and objectives that she gives us from this prior year.
But we don't have a consensus, Mr. Chair. We need to get a consensus.
I just have one more question. I have a question. Last year, when we did the evaluation, did we have all the data?
Yes,
No.
Yeah, we did.
No?
I don't
yes.
think- No, you didn't have we did not have the MCAS data when you did it.
Yeah, I don't think you
I thought we did.
No.
No, I don't think you did.
I believe we did, but
I thought we did too.
So
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there was a
No.
problem. Yeah.
may I make a suggestion? Why don't we leave the dates that we have? Let's see what happens by the 21st.
Mhm.
If we don't have what we need by that point, then we just
But the,
bump everything up.
but the superintendent, not speaking for the superintendent, but the superintendent, other than a few points, can probably give you the majority of that self-evaluation by the 21st.
I agree. That work for you?
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
comfortable with your suggestion, Mr. Chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on this? Any other business not anticipated within the last 48 hours? I move to move.
I move
for
adjourn.
adjournment. Thank you very much.
Second it.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Christian.